high on a hill.
Slide it down from the top,
And hit the little keys.
hit the little gear,
Gear key.
and that will take you into settings. So as you can see in settings, you can control things like your connections. What would your connections be? It says right here, Wi-Fi, data usage, airplane mode. Oh, I've got Bluetooth and
Did you find it?
settings is like your control panel. Okay, now I'm going to tell you to do stuff that's going to make your phone and devices not work, so follow everything that I do. Okay, it's you can make your device non-functional by setting the wrong settings. So you have to be a little bit careful here. If you turn on airplane mode, what's going to happen?
Turn off your
Is your
Wi-Fi.
device still going to work?
Yeah, but it won't get to the internet. It
Right.
stops you from the internet.
Bluetooth.
What does it stop? All of your radios. So what are the radios? We have a Wi-Fi radio, we have a Bluetooth radio, we have a cellular radio, we have a GPS radio in there. Turns them on.
Radio, R-A-D-I-O.
RADIO.
Okay,
A radio is something that sends and receives information.
okay.
And I guess that's, I don't know what the technical term radio, but that's what they call them in these devices. They're radios. Turns them off, so you're not going to get any phone calls, but you can still work with your device. You can turn it back on again, and now you can receive phone calls and get to the internet. So if I turn off airplane mode, or put on airplane mode, can I still get to the internet? Sure, just pick up my iPad. Okay, so yeah, if you're limited to one device, it has that feature. Okay, so but there's all kinds of stuff for payments and all locations, and you can set the accuracy. Sounds, you can set which kind of ring you have. You can put advanced features. Now, if you have an Android phone, you can go into the apps program. And if you go down to the apps, and I think this is a question you had a while ago, Tom, how do you control, like if you're saying taking photos or videos, if it goes to your memory on your device, or it goes to the little chip that you've inserted into there so that you don't use up all your internal storage? Okay?
On the
So
cloud.
if you're in the apps program and you touch one of the apps, some of the apps, this one tells me that my storage, I'm using 9.3 megabytes of 29.8 gigabytes of external storage. And I can change it. I can tell it to use internal storage or external storage. But not all applications allow you to use external storage. So don't go under the assumption that just because you have external storage, that you can use it for all your applications. They have to be programmed especially to use that external storage. Everything's going to go to internal storage when you first purchase it. Even when you put that card in there, it's still all going to go to internal storage. You have to actually tell your applications to use your external storage.
Well, my applications does not have that
Tap on one of the applications, like
Yeah.
photos or something.
manager. Okay.
Why isn't that an issue on Apple phones or Apple tablets? Because you can't put external storage chips inside them. When you buy an Apple phone, you buy it either has, these days I think it starts with 32 gigs maybe, or it used to be 16. Yeah, 32 or 64 or 128 or 256 or 512 or 1024, it just keeps on going. But you buy it with the storage in it, okay? Now you can always take some of that storage, stuff you have stored, and you can move it up to the cloud, you know, so you can use that as external storage. But you can't put a chip in an Apple phone like you can in an Android phone. And even some models of the Android phones you can't put a chip in either. Okay?
But I carry my iPad.
No, You can't
Put like a thumb drive on it.
Well, you can put a thumb drive in if you use a special adapter for it, but it's not, it's clumsy.
Yeah.
Because
Sticks
my
out.
chip goes into the
End it, so
body.
it doesn't stick out.
Yeah, I mean, I could hit it and it's not gonna break. Okay.
Sure.
All right, so settings. Let me go here. So settings is a real important application on your system because it controls basically everything, the way your phone works. Does anyone have an old iPhone, like an iPhone 5? Okay, well, good. So twice, I have an iPhone 5 too, it finally bit the dust, but for 2 updates it stopped working. It was on the Verizon network. And basically, what did Verizon tell me to do? Get a new phone. Okay, because that's what they tell you. It was an iPhone 5, they were already selling iPhone 8s at the time. Even the 10 was out at the time, but the iPhone 5 was still working until they came out with an update. So I called up Verizon and I said, my phone isn't working. And they said, well, look at the top of your phone. Do you see lines going up and down, or do you see dots as far as your connection? So if you bring up your phone, you see lines on the left side there.
The reception.
Yeah, if you have dots, he said, if you're seeing dots, go to this setting in the settings and turn it off. And I did that, and the phone started working. Okay? So I didn't have to go out and buy a new phone. I can guarantee you he wasn't supposed to tell me that, you know, but I was insistent enough to get it from him. But anyway, it's just settings that need to be updated so that they work with the new technologies. Because every time they do updates, something changes in the technology. And when they slip in a change in the technology, they always slip in a different way things get organized in your phone to make it look new and impressive to sell. It's a sales, tactic. And basically it's more confusing than it is helpful in the beginning. But after a while you get used to it until the next update comes and they do the same thing to you all over again. But does anyone have any questions about settings? It basically has all the configuration items that it allows you to do. So let's say it has 1,000 things you can change in here. Does that mean there's only 1,000 things that can be changed on this phone? No, that means there's only 1,000 things it's allowing you to look at. Okay? If you go into developer mode, or if you connect to your phone as a root user, there's 10 times as many things that someone can change. And the reason I'm using the name someone is because that person isn't you or me. Okay? It's not something we need to do. Settings on here are sufficient for the consumer. Even the consumer who likes to take chances. They can still give you a lot of stuff to do with. Chances are you will not brick your phone. When I say brick your phone, what do I mean? Turn it into a brick where it's completely unusable. It's about as usable as a phone as a brick would be. Okay? You're probably not going to be able to brick your phone just using your settings. Okay? So that means it can probably be recovered and usable again. But anyway, so you can change your display, your brightness, the amount of blue light filter you get. You can do device maintenance. You can set your lock screen on accounts, find all about system updates. And on the Android phone, which you would not find on the typical Apple phone, is you find developer options. So you can turn on developer mode on an Android phone, and that's basically what I was telling you before. It acts more like the root user who has a lot more power than a normal user. On an Apple phone, everyone is just a regular user. If you want to make your phone work with you as an administrator, we talked about this before, what do you need to do? You need to jailbreak it. Remember the word jailbreak? Or root, R-O-O-T, your phone. And then you have the same abilities on the phone. You get to the operating system and all kinds of stuff. but Apple will not support you if you do that. Whereas Android will support you with developer mode. Apple knows that most of their users just want a device that works all the time, has a long working battery, is easy to look at, and makes people smile. That's what they're after. Okay, so we're going to try a few little things now, and I think what you're going to find is that, so we're going to look at selecting text on both devices. What you're going to find out is that it's more similar than it is different. Okay? So, for example, if we want to, now when I say select text, what am I talking about? So let's say you have a paragraph, let's say you have an email that John Smith sent you, and it's really long, and you're not a very good typist, but you want to save like 10 lines of that, that email, okay? So what you would do is you would select those 10 lines, maybe it's a paragraph, and you would highlight it, basically. You would select it. Once you select it, you can do things like copy and paste and delete and things like that.
Oh no, read it out.
That's okay, it was a little cool anyway. You can do all kinds of operations, you can move it, you can do all sorts of things to it. So let's bring up a tablet or a phone if you have it. And if you have email connected, just open up an email. It has a whole bunch of writing in it. Let's see.
You don't have any time for the.
Okay. So this is my wife's iPad. It says, Marlene, here's what you missed from Google Photos. I love to send you this stuff. So let's say I want to select a text. Here's what you missed from Google Photos, okay? You take your finger, you put it on the first letter and you hold it. And when you let go, it will get highlighted and little markers will come up on this. And this works for your device as well. Yeah, you see? So now these little things that stick up and down, those are called handles. And all you do is you put your finger on those handles and you slide it along as many words or letters as you want. And then it comes up, when you take your finger off, it brings up a little menu that says select all, which will do the whole paragraph. You can copy it. Now where does it copy it to? Copies it to the clipboard. What is the clipboard? The clipboard is a little bit of memory set aside in your computer's RAM memory to hold things that you copy to the clipboard. Okay, it's a repository of things that you have copied or cut. Because when you cut it, you're not deleting it, you're just cutting it, and then you're going to paste it somewhere. So everybody, if you just click copy, okay, and then let's start a new email, just for giggles, if you know how to do that.
Sure.
Now just put your finger in there and hold it. Hold it, now lift it off. Let's try it again. It's supposed to do that.
Oh, you know what, the cursor was up on the address bar.
Let's try that again. Yeah, a little bubble comes up like that. And you just let go. And you have all these different options, but one of the things you can do, well, it's not bringing over your text. Let's see what happened here. Let me go back to your other one. Let's go here. Take your finger off, slide the little handle down, and we're going to copy it. Okay, and then we're going to go back to your other one that you have. Let's just bring up another for your email. Let's go back to it here. And we should be able to just hold it there, and that bubble comes up, and you let go. You can just paste it right in there. So it comes up in that new email.
Thank
Or
you.
another
Did you
one.
see that, Shelley?
Thank you, Bruce. That's something new I didn't know how to do.
Yeah, so that's how, so anyway, if you have this here, and you have it either on an Apple device or an Android
Yeah, I
device,
should be able to do
it
that.
tells you how to select it, how to copy and paste. So what kind of device do you have? Is that an iPad?
Me?
Yeah.
Yes.
So if you come over here to copy and paste under the iPad side, how to copy and paste on your iPhone or iPad, it goes through all those steps. So the first thing you do is you have to hold your finger down in there, tap and hold on a word. This activates the window that magnifies the area you tap. It causes a flashing cursor to occur. So there's a little circle that you see on the iPad. Then you lift your finger and some buttons pop up like select all, okay, or paste. And then you have these little handles here where you can actually expand the text to pull it out to the side, and copy it. And then you go into a new document, we're in the blank area here, and you click paste. And whatever you copy is going to show up in that area that you pasted. I mean, it's just, so anyway, that's why I put these links in here, is so that.
That's a good one.
Yeah, so here's selecting text, here's copy and paste, and search. So we're gonna be looking at all of these. We have enough time. Do we need to stop, Dick, or need a couple minutes?
Keep her going.
Okay, so on the Android side, over here, you're gonna basically see it's done exactly the same way. Typing's for suckers. Game the system and just copy and paste, copy pasta, copy and paste. So here they're showing you the little handles that you have. You can pull these apart and select more text or less text. Okay, so basically, once again, you find the text you want to copy and paste. Could be on a website, a text message, an email, whatever. Any place that you have text, that's not a picture. You understand that a picture isn't text. If you copy a picture, you're going to get the whole picture, not just the text in the picture, because it's a snapshot, not written text. But you find what you want, you tap and you hold on the text, you drop the little highlighted handles, you tap copy when the little menu appears, you tap and hold the space where you want to paste the text to, and you tap paste when the little menu comes up. So it's exactly the same thing, whichever device you have. What I'm trying to show you with this little series right now is that we tend to put ourselves in one camp or the other, but they're more alike than they are different. So everything is real similar, and that's why if you learn it on one, you can take it to the next one if you want. So anyway, when you have a copy of this, and you can also do the same thing with a link. If you want to do a link like for the internet or something, copy the link address. But I don't want to get into all this stuff here. Search. Let's search on an Apple. Okay? Let's say you want to find something. Okay, so this is an Apple device. So you can search for anything. So what you do is you swipe left on an Apple device, you swipe that way, and you have this little search box up there, and anything that matches that search criteria on your phone will show up in the column over here. Okay? So that's going to be a little bit different on an Android device. So Android makes searching a breeze. I like that. Okay. By default, most Android phones have a search button on the handset. When you press that button, the default quick search application will open. This is where you can enter your search string. So I don't think I've ever seen that box, but there are others just like it on the system. So if you're looking at the keyboard, and it says you can tap the mic button, but I'm not seeing a mic button on here. But if you look at your phones or your devices, and you actually go into a document or like a new email or something, and a keyboard comes up, you usually see a microphone on that keyboard.
Oh, yeah.
You see it there?
Right next to the space bar.
So you can tap that, so you can go and start a new email, and you can just tap into that, like the body, and hit the keyboard and just, hey Google, how you doing? We're having fun in this class. Period. So it typed, you can't read it, it's too small for you, but it typed out exactly what I said. Didn't make any mistakes. It put a capital letter. Oh, it's still going on as I continue to talk. So I'd have to press the button again to stop it.
Right.
It goes off after about 10 seconds of not saying anything. But then before you send it, you probably want to read it,
Yes.
because you never know what it didn't get correctly. But it's real easy to edit. And you can do a whole book this way. I mean, you can write a book by dictating the book if that works for you. But that's really a nice feature. You can do. Is it working?
Yeah, yeah.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah, I put the email address in. Oh, and it's continuing.
Yeah, because you have to press that button again to get your keyboard back. Now it will stop.
Thank you.
I just swiped the keyboard and the microphone came up in the.
Right, so if you want to do an internet search, like
Yeah.
you just tap on that and you say, I want to go to Google.
This is by magic.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool to be able to use that stuff
Bruce, how did you get the search?
to get to the search.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's basically you just put that, yeah, and a little search box will come up. So on Tom's phone, and he has a Samsung, if you want to search, the symbol to get to your search is, there's a little magnifying glass symbol, and that will take you to the search. And you'll see that all over the place. There are a whole bunch of tricks to searching that we will be talking about with Windows. But the point here is that you can use your microphone to do that, to do your searching and things like that too. So you can search in your browser, you can search for applications and contacts and music and all kinds of stuff. Remember the saying, more things than Carter has pills?
Yes.
Yeah, well, you can do that on your devices. So searching that's really one of the advantages of having the technology, is it helps you find things faster. And as we learn how to use those skills, and as we diminish in our other skills, it's nice to have a little helper. Did I say that nice enough?
Yes.
Oh, okay, good. Okay, another one thing people like to do is they like to send photos. Okay, so let's say you take a picture, and let's just all take a picture. So you click on your camera, and all these devices have a camera,
Mhm.
and you just take a picture of
Oh,
something.
yeah.
So you just take a picture, okay? Got it?
Yeah.
And then on most of them, you'll notice that your picture came up on the bottom there. It takes you to the photo gallery, okay? Or else you can go right into the gallery application. And on the bottom there, you'll see, let's see if I can do it here. If you tap on it, you'll see something that looks like either a branch or a box with an arrow going up. That's your sharing. So you're going to touch on that.
This? Which one? Oh, that one. And down here, it's this little box.
Okay, and it'll give you can send it in a message, or you can send it in an email, or you can save it in a shared item. Okay. Did you take a picture?
I did, but
Okay, go to your gallery right here. Just, oops.
You took a picture, but it's
Go in
not
here.
keeping
It's down there right now.
it.
Yeah.
Okay, so your sharing thing is right here,
So,
and you have to allow access.
No.
That's okay. And so you can send it
Do that.
using, you can
Oh,
send it to
doesn't have my email
Facebook,
set
or you
up.
can send it to any of these
yeah.
people,
Mm.
or you can use your, you can send it in WhatsApp, or you can save it to iDrive, or you can put it into Gmail, or you can add it to messages. So did you guys get all that stuff?
Oh, email.
Yeah.
Does anyone need help with
I
that?
haven't
Just
set
to
it
see
up,
that?
so-
Well, when I call mine up, and I got Messenger, I can
Yeah.
send a message, email, any of them,
Yeah, so you can send it in any of those, and it will attach it as an attachment. And you can actually send multiple pictures. If you do it from the gallery, you can pick multiple pictures, so you'll get a little empty circle that you can press on, and it will fill in with a little check mark. And that means, but what happens when you start sending too many pictures, if you get too many in there, it won't let you send an email because you exceed the limit of your email server that it lets you. So that's when you get into, and I think I have it here. No, I don't, but that's when you would get into your Photos application or your Gallery
I
application,
just sent it to you.
especially in the cloud, and you can make shared albums where you can actually take 100 pictures, you can put them into a folder, and you can get a URL for that folder where you just send your person you want to see the pictures the URL to see them, you know, like www.icloud.com/Tom'sPictures. They click on the link, it will take them to your pictures, and they can see the ones you share. And that way you don't have to send an email that has 50 megabytes on it. You just send, "Hi, how are you guys doing? Check out the pictures on this link." And it just takes up a few bytes of data.
I was taught how to use Airframe View
Uh-huh,
to reduce the size.
right,
And then I could send more,
right,
you know, but that was really a pain.
yeah. That's why the shared albums are so nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you have a cloud account and you share your items on there, you can share them with other people. And you can do that with, like you were saying before, you can do it with OneDrive, which is Microsoft Cloud, or you can do it with Google Drive, which is Google Cloud, or you can do it with iCloud
Dropbox.
or Dropbox. They're all the same. They're basically repositories where you can share with other people, and you get to give the permissions. Screenshots. Now, screenshots are kind of cool. So let's say you find the perfect recipe for hair on a hot dog, you know, or something like that. And you want to, say it's 1,000 words, but it's all on one screen, okay? And you want to get back to it, but you don't want to write it all down. So what do? Well, on this device, you just hold down the sleep button and the home button at the same time and let go, and it will take a snapshot, okay, of that picture, of that screen that you're on. It doesn't like to do it with my cover on it. It's a little harder to do.
You hold down the C button.
Well, anyway, so if you have an Apple device, so screenshots, so on an Apple device, okay, this is kind of interesting. It used to work, oh, I know why it's not working on my phone, because I have to use a different screen combination. But on your phone, if you hold down the sleep button and this button at the same time, it'll do a snapshot. You can hear a little,
Oh,
and now it'll be in your gallery. It'll be in your pictures. So this is one of the things that Apple changes all the time. It's like if you have an iPhone 5 and you want to turn it off, how do you turn it off? You hold the off button and it turns off. Well, that doesn't work on the new iPhones. You can hold it from today till tomorrow, and what comes up? Does anyone know what comes up when you hold that button? Siri comes up, okay, on an iPhone, okay? So they've changed the key combination. So on an iPhone 10 or later, you have to, in order to get a screenshot, you have to, you have to hold the side button, which is your sleep button, and your volume up button. So on this phone here, if I want to get a screenshot, I probably have to log in. If I want to get a screenshot, basically it's the volume up button, which is over here, and the side button here. and it takes a little picture of the screen, okay? So, anyway, so if you have an Apple phone, it tells you how to do it with an iPhone 10 or later, or how to do it with an iPad Pro, 11 inch is different, or an iPhone 8 or earlier. So if I held this up to you, and even the iPhone people, I showed you the back, could you tell me what kind of iPhone this is? Is it an iPhone 8, or is it an iPhone X, or is it an iPhone XS, or whatever? You can't tell. And what if you have two iPhones and they both work differently? Well, I don't like the way they do that. They should make it work the same way on all the devices, all the time. And I'm going to stick with that. Okay? But anyway, there are basically 3 or 4 ways of showing you here to do it, depending on what version you have. Okay? On the Android phone, screenshots are done a little differently, and so this tells you how to do screenshots on your. So of course they do it differently here. It either works this way, or if that doesn't work, try pressing the power button and the volume down button. You know, so there's different ways to do it on an Android device, and your screenshot is going to show up in your gallery on your Android phone, so you can send it just like any other picture to somebody. And so what are you seeing on your screen? Well, let me take a screenshot and I'll send it to you by Messenger, and then they'll have it right away. So it's kind of a nice feature, or if you're on with technical support or something, and they want to know what's on your screen, you can do it that way. So the reason I put these little links in there is so you can go home and do it on your own, because we can't get to everybody's device.
Excellent.
It works.
Okay, so 2 other things. We have a couple more minutes. I want to cover multitasking and background apps. Okay, on an Apple phone, if you have multiple programs open, Apple phone, I don't even think there is an Apple phone. If you have a couple applications open, and if you swipe up from the corner and hold it on the newer iPhones, it will show you that you have multiple applications here. They call this multitasking, but it's really application switching. You can just click on one or the other. On the Android phones, and I'm sure everybody's seen this if you have an iPhone where you can have multiple things. Most people never close these. If you want to close them, you just swipe them up and they go away. Just swipe them up that way and they go away. Now on your Android phone, you have a special button for that. And it will bring up all your open applications like that. Now an Android phone is fun. An Android phone really does multitasking. You can actually run an application and keep it running while another application is running as well. So an Android phone can do true multitasking, whereas an Apple phone is more along what's called application switching. When it goes to a new application, it will stop the original one until you go back to it. It just holds it in memory. But most people wouldn't know the difference anyway, so forget I even said it. But on here, you can close one at a time. You can't swipe up, you just hit the little X on an Android phone. Or they also give you my favorite feature you'll find on an Android phone that you don't find on Apple, close all. Because if you have 30 applications open, and believe me, people who use iPads and iPhones don't close their applications, because when you minimize them, they just go in the background. You have to do it one at a time until they're all gone. Well, it doesn't take that long really, but it's still kind of a pain to do. But anyway, that's something you can do on your device with what we call multitasking or application switching. But the other cool thing on your iPhone is you can do something called widgets. Okay, widgets would be like calendars and other little reminders and things like that you can do on your iPhone. And your iPhone widgets, basically they show up on your the same page that you have your searching on. So if you have an iPhone or sitting next to someone who has an iPhone, and if you remember to get to the search page, we can go back in that direction here. And all these little boxes that you see here are what are called widgets. This I have tips, and I have a calendar, and I have weather, and I have news, and I have Siri app suggestions, and things like that. Those are all different widgets on your phone. Okay, so how do you add and remove widgets? Well, that's a good question. Why don't we look at the document here? To add or remove widgets, you just swipe right over the home screen or lock screen, scroll down to the bottom. On the bottom it says edit. You tap edit,
Yep.
and then you see little red minuses and green pluses in your widgets. And if you click on the red plus, it adds it to your widget page. If you click on the red circle with the minus sign in it, it puts it back in the repository here and takes it off that page. So that's how you add and remove them. Now, an Android phone's a little bit different. If you take your Android phone like your Samsung and you find a blank spot on a page, let's find a blank, and you hold your finger on it and you let go, you'll see along the bottom you can choose different wallpapers and things, and widgets is one of the things you can choose. And of course I have Amazon Music and Audible and a calendar and more calendars and all kinds of pages of stuff that I can go through and choose all these widgets to add them to my home screen. And that's something that you can use to get quick access to. They're actually applications that are already on your phone, you just need to activate them. For example, on my phone here, if I go back to my home screen, here, you'll see that I have the date and the time and the temperature for swim. And that's just a widget that was added to my home screen, so I know where I'm at. It tells me I'm in swim, and it tells me the date and time and the last time it was updated, which was just about 10 minutes ago. So anyway, it's really kind of a nice feature to have, to put widgets on your phone. And sometimes you like them. When people first start using widgets, they use way too many, and then finally they get to the point where they figure out the ones they really want, and then there's pages aren't so cluttered, and it makes it actually usable. Because one of the worst things that can happen is to a device this small, when you have too much clutter, it just makes it hard to use. So you want to keep it as simple as you can. Okay, let's go back here. So I'm not going to talk about all these applications like the word processors and the spreadsheets and things like that. That's more for, we should know about that. Like I said, the Translate is really a nice program both on the Apple and on the Google device. Calendar, I use my Google Calendar, and even on my Apple devices, I reference my Google Calendar because I have Chrome on my Apple device, and I can also download the Google Calendar from the Apple App Store. It's on there, and it will let you download it. So it's really a nice feature to have. So, how are we doing? Does anyone have any questions so far? I know we've covered a lot of things. Yes.
I just found all my widgets that
Uh-huh.
I know are on here. But, so you have all these little screens, you
Right.
know, but how do you open them? I mean, I'm tapping on it and all it says is to how to move it. You know, does that mean maybe it wasn't installed or something? I mean,
Okay, so here's your home button there. And these are the different pages that you have right now. You see those little dots on the bottom?
yes,
They'll show you which page you're on.
okay.
Okay, that's all the way to the left. It looks like those are those widgets that are those the widgets that you had?
No, I went over here and I did what you said, to hold that
Yeah.
like that, and then I went to here.
Right.
And look at all that.
Now you just select them, so
Okay, but if I selected,
let's select one of them.
select break, I mean, that's,
Okay, you select Brave, and then you should be able to move it onto your, we'll have to look at
Are the
that.
ones that
Okay.
showed up on there, are they the ones that are actually on the widgets that she has?
Yes.
Cause I looked at my widgets and I had a bunch of them, I didn't realize I had them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
same
have,
here.
yeah, you do have access to those widgets. They came with the operating system. Okay, I think we've had enough. I know I've had enough. So I hope it
Very
was
good.
helpful. We got through a lot of stuff here
Yeah,
today.
that's
and You got
great.
a chance to use your device a little bit today.
Mhm.
I think he said image.
I think that I'd kind of like to move into Windows 10 in the future. We need to talk about that because there's like file systems and things like that we need to cover. So we don't really have another meeting scheduled right now. But let's talk about what we want to do next and what direction we want to go with this. As far as the club members would like to benefit from it. So hopefully you learned a couple of new things.
Absolutely. Yay.